Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Sabbath. Happy Sabbath. Let me tell you something. Great minds have purpose, other people have wishes. I hope you're using your great mind. It's a great day. Look on beside me. Who do we have over there? We have Mr. William Clay, an authority on quite a few subjects. Uh, we want to apologize for being late this morning. We had technical issues. Our weather is kind of medium now. It has been pretty intense, and I guess some of our technical issues stems from the weather. And so we apologize for being late, but we are here, and it's better late than never. So we're here. We're here. And I want to welcome Mr. William Clay. He's our special guest this morning. And he's going to talk to us about the Civil Rights Act of 1984 as it relates to Titles 6 and 7. It is so interesting when you hear him talk about it. So stay tuned and get all of the information you can get. And if you have any questions, please post those, and we will be sure to get answers. So welcome, Mr. Clay. You're doing well, Mr. William Clay. You're doing well.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I am. Yes, I
Great,
am.
great, great to hear. It feels good to be among the living, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
In spite of our little complications, we are still here and smiling. So, Mr.
Yeah.
Clay, I'm gonna let you take over and give us knowledge that we need. So get your pen, grab your pen. This is being recorded, so you can review it as often as you need to review it. And some of the questions that I have from him, I don't know if you want me to start with one of the questions or not, Mr. Clay, but what would you like for me to do? It's up to you.
Well, what I would like to do is introduce what I'll be
Okay,
discussing this
let's do it.
morning,
Let's do it.
and that is the 1964 Civil Rights Act,
Mm-hmm.
which came before the 1984 Civil Rights Act.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of things that happened between 1964 and 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, saying that, I would like to have you to ask the question, and we can go further from there, and then I will expound on whatever, which way we go.
Okay. Well, one of the questions is, you know, I think I'll start here because it's in the Constitution, first of all. We all have access to the act online, hard copy, however you want to read it. So why are we not paying more attention to it?
Well, first of all, I must say that most people, most individuals out there in business who own business, as well as employees,
Mm-hmm.
what they get caught up in is their best business practices.
Mm-hmm.
Best business practices for as many agencies that I have questioned about Title VI and Title VII nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
they have very little knowledge. And when
Mm-hmm.
I
Very
say
true.
very little knowledge
Mm-hmm.
in
Absolutely.
agencies, I'm
Mm-hmm.
speaking about county, city,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Escambia County Utilities
Mm-hmm.
Authorities, some of the people there that I spoke with, all of those 501c3
Mm-hmm.
vendors like that,
All right.
very little knowledge of Title VI.
Mm-hmm.
So what needs to happen is that individual, whether they're business, whether they're for profit or private or not for profit, they need to be taught how to approach government or any other private business
Mm-hmm.
from the constitutional perspective.
Okay.
For an example, interstate commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Interstate commerce clause almost, well, it does tie us into almost any and everything that we do because most of everything when we perform our business or just driving up and down the street is taxpayers' dollars,
Yes.
where the Constitution allow us to be taxed.
Mm-hmm.
So saying that every time we use something, whether it's through electric or uh, driving up and down the street, the internet,
Mm-hmm.
we are using public funding.
Yes.
So we have to abide by the Constitution, whether we want to or not.
Mm-hmm. I understand, but it seems to be a very hard thing for us to do, and we're always just grabbing hold to one sentence and not the full paragraph when we're of something that we read that's for our good, that will keep us on the right path. We're looking at just one phrase of it instead of the bigger picture. So let's start with Title 6 if we can, and you give us an introductory level of what's in Title 6. And I hope that from this point on, we'll be able to go, whether it's online and view or print your copy of the Constitution and read for yourself.
Okay, first of all, let me say this, and
Mm-hmm.
that is under the 1964 Civil Rights Act,
Mm-hmm.
Title 6 and Title 7 was created.
Mm-hmm.
But what people don't seem to understand,
Mm-hmm.
Title 6 and Title 7
Mm-hmm.
is just an offshoot or offspring
Mm-hmm.
from the 14th Amendment, equal
Okay.
access under the law.
Okay.
And see, those are the things that, when it comes down to public funding,
Mm-hmm.
we don't seem to understand.
Yes.
When we look at Title 6 applies to every public agency,
Mm-hmm.
every public agency because those agencies are tax exempt.
Mm-hmm.
But federal agencies, Title 6. State agencies, they don't pay federal taxes, tax
Mm-hmm.
exempt. County agencies, tax exempt. City agencies, tax exempt. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to think about one thing is this. The Constitution doesn't say anything about a county or a city.
Mm-hmm.
It says local. So they are really, counties and cities are really 501c3s or nonprofit
Mm-hmm.
that has been assigned the duties
Mm-hmm.
of the state or federal government. And they are tax exempt. So when they're tax exempt, what happens? They fall right back under Title 6 with all the rest of the agencies.
I got it. I have that. So I don't know if this will. You can answer this question, but in Delaware, there is no tax for the entire state. So is that something that's in the Constitution?
Well, I'll respond by saying this.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying they don't pay any type of tax, sale tax, or anything like that?
That's correct.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do they use the internet there?
Yeah, they do. They have public
Do they
school.
use public highways?
Yes.
Okay, they still under the same.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
how can they get across that Delaware Memorial Bridge, whatever they call it over there?
That's what it's
How do
called.
they get across there?
Yeah.
Without having taxpayers' dollars.
Yes. Okay. So this, even though the citizens are not charged taxes, they're using the federal tax dollars anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Federal, state, Delaware, the state.
Yes, it is. Okay. So how do we use it as an individual, as a nonprofit, as a church, as whatever? How do we use Title 6 and 7 to our advantage? Just being an individual citizen who wants equality and not receiving equality on the job, and in other areas of our life where we're working in. How do we use Title 6 and 7 to our advantage?
Okay, first of all, what you have to identify uh, the funding that's involved. So if you're not getting the treatment, equal opportunity on the employment side, then you can go and file a complaint through Title VII, EEOC. You can file a complaint there. But also, you can go and file under Title VI, where on the funding side, you have two different situations here. You have an employer, for an example, if it's a city, county, or state, or whatever, you have an employer that's mistreating the, for an example, an employee, not treating that employee fairly through promotions and anything, equal access under the law. But that's an employment practice. So that's Title VII. If that organization is tax exempt, then on the Title VI side, what you're saying is you are using public funds
Right.
to mistreat these employee or
Right.
that employee or
Right.
female employee
Yes.
or whatever, gen- gender identification employee.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference. So it's always, you always have two, Title VI and Title VII. It's always there regardless of what we do.
So, is there official paperwork that an individual would complete, or do they have to write a book to state their claim or their case?
Now, whatever, say, if you have an organization, whether it's federal, state, city, county, you go through their protocol.
Okay.
And if you cannot resolve it at that first stage, after you brought it to the employer's attention, then you can, there are federal organization you can go to, at least three, called the EEOC, Title VI, and what they will say is that, well, that is a Title VI complaint because it's public funding.
Right.
And then you can go through the Civil Rights Division, or you can go through the Justice Department, or whatever agencies it's funding. Say if it's a U.S. Department of Education, then you can go and file through the U.S. Department of Education. Say
Okay.
if it's the Department of Transportation, then you can go and file through the U.S. Department of Transportation. Because
Okay.
all of these agencies should have a conflict resolution process.
Okay. Let me open this can of worm because it's been in the news, so I'm not really telling anyone's business. But there was a young man in our local area that they say it was said on the news that the school prohibited him from receiving an award in high school because of his hairstyle. And he had like a large, to me, it looked like a picture of a large afro because
Yeah.
his cap would not fit properly, is what I heard now on the news. So, is that something that, because it's with the Department of Education, our schools, right?
Yes,
So that would be an entitlement to file under Chapter 6 or 7, right?
you could.
Yes,
You
okay, great.
could.
Okay, wonderful. So age doesn't matter when
No.
you're filing. And what about a time limit? Is there a time limit once you've been discriminated against, or you don't have the equal access to what other co-workers may have, or you've been overlooked a promotion that you know and everyone else knows that it should have gone to you? Is there a time frame for
Well, you can check. You could, when you file your complaint, you do that expediently when you feel as though, when you know you've been discriminated against, or when you come into knowledge that you've been discriminated against.
okay?
But it's the time that you actually known that you have been discriminated against. And that's when you can actually go and file your complaint. But getting back to what you're saying, normally I would have to recheck this. Normally you have 180 days,
I see.
180 days to file your complaint.
So on the job, do we follow protocol by going to our HR department to say what's going on that's discriminatory? Is that the first step first before you go to do paperwork with as it relates to a complaint with Title 6 or 7?
You can,
Okay.
you can, because when you go through the investigation, they're going to always say, well, have you brought this to someone's attention, human resource attention, and whatever management process you have in place for employees to solve their conflict resolution process.
Okay. Can you tell me if this is a lengthy process, or is this something that's acted on really quickly once you identify the discrimination and how you know you were discriminated against, or how you didn't get the promotion that you should have got, how your equipment at work might not be the same as your coworkers' equipment, and there's a difference. There's a major difference. Is this a long process for someone to submit a claim through Title VI, and understanding that we're going to start with our Office of Human Resources, or whoever is managing the protocol for that at your company or business? Is it a long process for someone to get a response from EEOC or from the Department of Education? From those other entities that you mentioned, the Department of Transportation, is this a long, drawn out process, like you're trying to get Social Security or something, and they're denying you and denying you, denying you, denying you? I mean, does it ever end? Do we get justice?
Well, it's all according. If you go and attain an attorney, a lot of time with the knowledge of the attorney, it goes a little bit faster.
Okay.
But the regular process, you go and you file your complaint. And recently, I've heard that the EEOC, they've been responding pretty quick.
That's good.
What
That's
they do is that they send you a right to sue letter. And when you have the right to sue letter, you can go to the get yourself an attorney, and you can pursue that way.
yes.
But class action is what EEOC is really responding to, class action lawsuit, because it's affecting more than one person. It mean it could affect the whole culture of individual, whether it's Black, Hispanic, Filipino, or whoever, people of color. So that's going to be what agency you'll be filing through. But most of the time, historically, it's 180 days when you find out that the practice is going on.
I see. So this is not for. I'm understanding this, and I want everyone to know this is just not based on race. This could also be based on your sexual identity, your
All the above.
disability, yeah, your disabilities, or what else could we say? So it's not just race, based on race. I want you to know that. It's based on other things that people classify you as different, and then they want to try and make your life miserable or harder. So I just said that way. How about that? Did that do it, Mr. Clay?
Yes, but it goes over on the Title VI side, it goes uh, a lot further than that, because on the Title VI side, they can be taking funds and applying the funds indiscriminately.
I see.
And the funds may not be getting to a place where they should be.
I see.
And in an area that need one or two activities within the community, and they're not applying the fund, and it's having an adverse impact on groups of individuals,
I
whether
see.
it's black, white, blue, green, brown,
Yeah.
all the above. So one is a best business practice. The other is that you are taking public fund and you're not in compliance with the public funds. And we cannot leave out compliance. Compliance has to be always be a part of the solution.
Right. So we've got this is based on what I've seen in our community as it relates to the construction working, the public workers who are on the
Mhm,
highways and on roofs and things like that. So
mhm.
is it discriminatory to have only one set of a group working and doesn't include everyone working. And I'm trying to be
Of
kind.
course,
Yes, okay.
of course. And see, with that, for an example, road construction, areas like that, uh, contracting, subcontracting, Department of Transportation has a very, very strong equal opportunity program. And in areas like that, there's an agency that offers a federal contract compliance that really governs all of that. And most of the time, they are very, very strict when when it comes down to contracts and subcontracting and work available.
Right.
The issue is that when you look at that, that one particular group that's out there working on the highways, what's it, Interstate 10 or whatever, you have to look at the recruitment, the RFP, and all of those activities like that to see if you had qualified individuals that can actually come out there and perform the work and also get bonded in the process.
What's
So,
RFP?
request for proposal.
Okay. So it's like the contractor.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay. So we see this all the time in our community and probably in other communities where there's only one group of people doing the construction work here lately for some years now, and the roofing and that type of thing. So is there a percentage that's outlined in Title 6 and 7 of what the balance should be between the different races of people when they're using tax dollars? I mean, should it be 50-50 or 25-75, or is it based on the population for the county or the
Well,
state?
well, in time, if you can remember, well, you're a little younger than I am, so, but in time past, the Becky versus California Board of Regents, the ruling on there was set aside was unconstitutional. And time passed on after Becky, then the glass ceiling initiative came out. So the Supreme Court has historically ruled on goals. And with goals, you have to have a good faith effort. And with good faith effort, that employer has to make a good faith effort in recruiting to make sure that you have contractors or individuals that have worked as contractor or just regular construction business where people of color can perform the work. And then also, if a prime contractor know that there aren't any, for an example, black contractors or Hispanic contractors that can really get bonded to uh, perform the job or insurance or whatever, then they can work with a mentor protege program to
Mentor
show,
protege program?
yeah, mentor protege program.
Okay.
That's a program where a prime could take a uh, black business that historically have done small work or mid-size activities and bring that business in and show that business what a prime contractor does
Okay.
and work hand in hand with their particular business, whether it's
That's
black business or white female business or Hispanic female business. Those are the mentor protege program. But in a lot of cases like that, uh, primes, in a certain cases, they really do a good job at trying to search and find a lot of minority business,
great.
but having those business getting bonded and have this person perform or have the equipment or have the number of people that it's going to take in order to be successful and in order for the prime going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things that a prime contractor has to do to make sure that the deadline is being met.
Okay, I got it. I understand that. So I want to thank you for being on the show. We're going to get ready to close out with a final word from you. And on top of that, I want the audience to know that this is something that you should investigate, that you should look into further. Our Civil Rights Act. Uh, and look at Title 6 and 7. Read the whole thing if you'd like, because it's what we're living in, and so we should be informed about what we can and cannot do, and how to deal with the negative things that keep growing in our community against certain groups of people. And so, for a final word, please, Mr. Clay, for our audience today, about a minute or two.
Okay, finally, what we have to do as taxpayers, we have to be very observant
Mm-hmm.
between business practices
Mm-hmm.
and our federal government or state government or local.
Mm-hmm.
And we cannot confuse people's bad business practices, even though you can file a complaint for bad employment practice.
Right.
But also, you can just step over on the Title VI side and
Right.
say they are using public funding
Mm-hmm.
and that's causing an adverse impact
Mm-hmm.
on a class of people or a protected class of
Mm-hmm.
people.
I got it.
So that's what I would like to share with everyone. And it's broad. It's very broad.
And don't think that you're being mean because you recognize that you are being discriminated against. It's your right to let someone know that you are. And
That's
it's
right.
in our Constitution. And we tend to ignore this, trying to keep the peace sometime. But it's a lot of hate out there. So we're going to have to step up our game and start protecting our rights as well. So if you feel that your rights are being infringed on in a negative way, then we need to tell somebody. You can tell somebody. Only you can do it for you. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to walk in as a citizen, a great citizen in this state, and recognize that you deserve as much as the next person does. Okay? And so if someone's not treating you right on the job, or in business practices, then we can say something, and it's okay to say something when you're being discriminated against. So we thank you, Mr. Clay, for joining us, and we have a commercial of our own because we do have a prayer
You are
line.
welcome.
Thank you very much. And, and sorry we started late, but you know how tech is, but we did it. We did it. And as we move further and as we start getting more feedback from this video, we may have to call on you to address some of the questions that our guests have submitted. But in any case, our commercial is that we have a prayer line to at every Saturday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can dial into the prayer line at 605 313 5883. It's a corporate prayer line. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but we will be there and we will be praying. The line will open at 10 minutes to 7 Central Standard Time. That's 7 a.m. on every Saturday morning. Just dial in to 605 313 5883. This show is also shown again at www.gmap. It's GMAP Broadcasting Network every Saturday at 7 p.m. All you have to do is just go to www.gmap1.com to watch, okay? And it's showed again on another channel of broadcasting on Sunday. So thank you again. We're signing out. Goodbye. Happy Sabbath. Have a good day. And you be blessed and stay blessed. Goodbye.